Hi, in this video I will be showing my text adventure game Escape Room, as well as explaining the work behind it. You need to solve a short puzzle to complete it, which I'm doing here. If it is going too fast to read, feel free to pause the video. Firstly, there's the inventory, which is currently empty, as well as the help feature showing the list of available commands. It works as a basic text parser and only examines the first two words entered, so I'm sticking to that for simplicity's sake in this video. Items can be examined and taken into your inventory, and special items can be used in specific rooms to trigger an event. In this case, we want the main goal of opening the locked door. I also included two extra commands, clean and kick, as extra things a player could discover for themselves, and to reward them for being curious if they haven't checked the help feature. At any time, the player can click the quit button to exit the game. In Unity itself, the text is shown on a black background on which there's an input field where the player types their commands, and the text box where the dialogue is actually displayed. There is also the quit button, which just works by linking it to the game controller script and its specific exit function, and set to activate when clicked. The entire game is run through the game controller and links to the majority of the other scripts. This was made with the help of online tutorials and built in such a way that the rest of the game could be made through Inspector using scriptable objects. These are split into folders of the rooms players can go into, the items they can manipulate, the actions they use to do this, and the action responses which occur when a player uses an item in a specific room. Firstly, I'll show you the room objects. This includes the individual drawers and the vent. In the case of the vent, this can only be entered when the screwdriver is used in the cupboard, essentially teleporting them to this room. The items can be placed in the room objects and can be assigned input actions with their own unique text responses, as seen here. Despite being treated as rooms, the vent and drawers have also been created as items in order for the player to examine them. Input actions include go, take, examine, among others, as well as the help and inventory. The action responses are assigned to an item and cause a room change, for example, using the key to move the player from the main room to an identical one with a new exit to the north. Now let's have a look at the code. Here, the player's command has been split into their individual words. It then checks the first word to see if it matches the pre-created list of commands, for example, examine. If it does, then it'll respond to that command and carry out its function. Commands were created using an abstract class base from which all other command classes are based off of. In this case, Go links to the room navigation script to change rooms. Other specialized classes like Help, Clean, and Kick simply output a text response. After this is complete, the class will display the text, reactivate the cursor, and wipe it for further use. In order to move between rooms, the room's qualities must first be referenced. The room class is also used so it can be a scriptable object and be reused in Inspector. It details its name, description, exits to other rooms, and the items that can be found there. These can just be dragged and dropped in Inspector. For the room navigation script, it acts similar to Game Controller in that it is a central script for moving around. It is responsible for unpacking a room's list of exits when entered and clearing the list when the player leaves the room. When a player attempts to move between rooms, the script checks if the second word entered matches one of those given as an exit for that room. If it isn't, this text response is shown, but if it is, the script will link to game controller to change rooms and display its text, with an additional text response if it is a room they are actually going to, rather than a door or vent. Once again, the interactable item script acts as the main script for the item interactions in the game. Its qualities are first defined in the interactable object script as a scriptable object. It holds the item's name, description, and whether it has any interactions. That interactions links to a separate script, which holds the text response for that interaction, as well as whether it produces any room change action. Going back to interactable items, it sets out lists as needed, as well as creating dictionaries for each of the main item actions: examine, take, and use. This script also holds the functions that allow the inventory to work. If there are no items in the inventory, it will tell the player. However, if there are, it will list them. This script also holds the responses for using an item that is correct but in the wrong room, an item that isn't usable, and an item that the player doesn't have. Well, I hope you enjoyed this overview of my game. If I had more time with this, I'd have loved to expand it further with more items and puzzles, as well as more commands. I'd have also liked to refine what's already here and make it so multiple versions of the same command were recognised, such as take and pick up. I would also have liked to make room and examine responses change after certain interactions, as at the moment the examine vent description is the same even after it's been opened with a screwdriver.